Trouble again. You know, you would think I would have remembered that this was an issue. I didn't. I didn't remember it was an issue because I don't think about this until I'm here doing it with you. So, still an issue, and I don't know what I thought. I don't know. I don't know what I thought. So, hello, hello, most beautiful stars. Appreciate you. And yeah, you might see my hand up in the air. I am just making sure that things are kind of up and running. And I apologize if you just heard feedback. Yeah, nothing's doing what I want it to. Yeah, that's why I'm not. It's again why I'm not worried about AI. I hope Beloved finds us again. Hello, Seeker. Good to see you. I hope Beloved, he had come through my original one, where then I guess I abandoned it. That was the word that I guess I hit, abandoned, as I was flipping through things. It is what it is. Que sera, sera, right? Um, so we are doing Edgar Cayce life skill studies, and I'm hoping you can hear me because that's the one thing that I am most concerned about. Because I'm still can't really have my mic hooked up the way this is playing out. So, all right, where's my mind? Where was I? I was in a lot of places. Um, happy October. Happy October. Happy Halloween, everyone. Little nugget about me. I am actually not a fan of Halloween. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of Halloween. This time of the year actually causes more difficulty for me than not, and so I'm not that big of a fan. Um, Lots of reasons why. Not just not that big of a fan. If you all celebrate it, more power to you. I do appreciate jack o' lanterns. That I appreciate. I see you, Sandy, in the chat. Good to see you, my dear. Um, Fun fact about jack o' lanterns: the during the Underground Railroad. I think I probably said this before. During the Underground Railroad, they used jack o' lanterns. It was actually kind of their form of. They got the idea, of course, from the Old Testament, the Jews in the wilderness with the light, which also represents the menorah at Christmas time. That's a long story, of course. It's the Old Testament, very long. But they got the idea from that using jack o' lanterns because I guess people might not really picture it in their minds, the Underground Railroad. Imagine a bunch of people, right? As many as they could possibly take at one time, all following in a straight line in very, very dark woods. Very, very dark woods. Think of the time period. So we can't even really fathom the darkness of the woods, right? And so they use jack lanterns for a few different reasons. So whoever was in the front of the line would be holding one and it'd be lit up. So they'd carve it out so it had a face and put a candle in it and it'd be lit up, and somebody at the back of the line would be carrying one as well. So, the people that were in line following one another could look for the light, right, in the wilderness. Um, and because it's not like they were tethered together, folks. I mean, that would have been extremely dangerous. So they followed the light. And also, um, if there were other passerbys, either people looking for him or not looking for him, anybody, it didn't matter, passing through the woods, they would not see the people. I mean, you gotta imagine darker than dark woods. I mean, it is so. If you haven't experienced the woods like that at night, it's like, oh, yeah. Um, Other people passing by would not see the people, they would see this glowing, demonic looking face. So it was also a deterrent because those people would either run and hide, or they would freeze in place and not, they would think that that was maybe a demon in the woods. So the other people in the woods that would be there would not want to go anywhere near them. So it was actually a very clever, very extremely clever, extremely clever to use jack-o'-lanterns during the Underground Railroad. So that's a little history nugget about the use of jack-o'-lanterns that I absolutely love. I began saying I'm not the biggest fan of Halloween because this time of the year gives me more trouble than good. It's been very hard to do my work lately, just because of this time period, what happens. Um, and so I don't really celebrate that much. We do jack lanterns for the most part because of the purpose of them. It is a deterrent from all things. So that works for me well. I don't like I don't like this time of the year when things think they can just be present. I don't like it. Let's pick a card. Today we are doing Edgar Cayce Life Skill Study. And actually, by the time we get to the end of the chunk that we're reading, because I didn't want to do his bio. I wanted to go back into where we were before, because it was starting to get kind of good. Like, whoa, he's talking about different dimensions, and the soul has the memory of everything, and the soul sees it as one continuous life of many of experiences. So I kind of wanted to get back into it, and as I was refreshing my mind, um, you'll understand why I don't really dig this time of the year by the time we get done with it, because something happened last night when I was sleeping, and I'm a big fan of just sleeping. That you'll see why. You'll see why I don't like it too much. So I hope everyone is well. Beloved, I'm glad you found us again. This was, yeah, I'm still having computer issues. It is what it is. So nice that everybody is here. I see Lori here. Lori, your name is not in blue for some reason, my dear. We're going to have to fix that. I won't be able to fix it right now, but we will have to fix that at some point. I apologize. I don't know how. I do not know what is going on with all this. With kind of technology, period. Um, that's why I don't worry about AI. Can't even get its own self right. How's it going to do something to me? you know? Oh, Lori just said it's her phone. Okay. Let's pick a card for today's reading, though, folks. Or discussion. We haven't done this in quite a while. Wow. Jeez. And my cards are not happy that we haven't done this in a while. Jeez. Okay. Oh. Root chakra. Interesting. I have an idea if I know why this is going to come up. Okay, and it's number 1. The frequency of the root chakra, the red flower of life, stimulates passion and supports our sense of security on this physical plane, both in our bodies as well in the physical world. Supports our, see, now you guys get to see the whole card. Supports our security. Supports our security. Yeah, we all know where that is. I understand why that's going to come up. Yes, beloved, I was drinking my water. Oh my goodness, and for those in the north or those even all around that are experiencing this cold, which I know the northerners just laughed at me. It's cold here for me in the south. I don't like it. Oh my goodness. We are going to have an interesting winter, folks. It's the flippy floppy of the poles. Oh, I gotta remember that's a whole series of videos to make. So we are starting on page 60, and we're going to go to about 64. There's a lot kind of in here. I'm going to read the last sentence or the last couple of sentences that we left off at. While in the body, your expression is limited to 3 or 4 dimensions. But out of body in the borderlands, you can experience 8. That's where we left it last time. There are really 9 dimensions, but we don't know much about the ninth, which seems to be the final and disconnected from Earth consciousness. I'm going to keep reading and I'll comment. But as a soul aware of yourself as you pass through material consciousness, you become aware of 4 levels of awareness operating in earth and 4 operating in heaven. So as you meditate, as you gain higher consciousness, even our consciousness is aware, but we're not always aware of what is going on. We're not paying attention. So they're saying there's 4 levels of awareness operating here on earth. 4 levels of awareness operating here on earth. And then 4 operating in what would be the heaven, right? In quotations. These 8 dimensions, Earth is the 3rd, exist so that every give me a moment. I love this word because it pauses me every time. Screw it. It pauses. Hold on. It's like, it's one of those words that it's right here. It's right here. It's right here. Synchronicities. Yeah, I'm not going to do it. Screw it. So, all these dimensions exist for every individual soul may be met from the beginning of time to the end as we know it. The Creator wishes that not a single one of us should perish. So these dimensions, also called systems, arouse the soul to its need to know its maker. So what they're saying is all these aspects that the soul, right, that the soul experiences through all lives that they see as one continuous life. So if your soul has incarnated on earth hundreds, thousands of times, right, many, many times, your soul sees it as one. Your soul sees it as one. It's just it's a continuous story. Remember, he was accessing the Akashic. It's just a continuous story. And all of these that you can access, the 4 here on earth of consciousness, conscious awareness, and the 4 of the heaven, is also you can get closer to the Creator. And it ignites your soul. It sparks something in your soul to do so. All these systems, remember, they're referring to these consciousness planes, these consciousness dimensions, right, as systems. All these systems exist in our own universe, of which science has yet to find the edge, and are represented by the planets and other heavenly bodies. Earth is special in being the only planet in our universe where we may live in human form. Life on other planets consists of vibrations and influences. There are other universes beyond ours, but being concerned with them is like putting the cart before the horse. So yes, there are other universes, not just ours. But they're saying, why are we even going to pay attention to that when we can't even pay attention to what we should be doing in our own universe, right? Which I fully agree. I fully agree. It's this, I guess, is a sidebar. I get this a lot. Um, People asking, am I living my purpose? Am I living this? Am I living that? Am I growing? Am I basically if I'm doing good? And I've had a lot of readings lately. And it's because of the energies we're in. I've had a lot of people kind of asking, like, am I doing the right thing? The Akashic does not ever see it that way. There is no right or wrong. Like you're not doing. I had a reading the other day that I was like, nobody's gonna call you a bad girl. There, it's not like you're a bad girl. You need to be punished. That's not a thing. Now, can we maybe influence our own life and others in a more healthier direction? Yes. Can we? Is there things that we um, should be more aspiring to do as individuals and a collective? Yes. But there is no actual right and wrong of, I guess, getting it right or wrong. There isn't. There really isn't because we're just the one thing that I guess is a right or wrong, and this is where people miss the boat. And this is the reason I brought that up is because of that concept. Everybody wanted to learn about even universes outside of our own when we don't even understand our own or aspire to travel through our own. Um, it's the same thing. Am I doing the right thing? Ask yourself if you're a decent human. It's really that simple. Are you a decent human? Because the majority of us are still working on that, right? And that's the main goal, as it's about to tell us. Earth is special in being the only planet in our universe where we may live in human form. I want you to remember that. And then I'm going to skip down. We will never see them if we don't choose whom we shall serve and complete the earth task of learning to love. So that's what it was saying. It was saying, don't worry about the other universes because we will never see them if we don't choose whom we shall serve and complete the earth task of learning to love. Love is the main objective. This business of eternal life is depressingly conditional. Either learn to love or else. About the most embarrassing thing that can happen to a soul is to get banished to Saturn. That is hilarious. Let me keep going. It's like having to stand in the corner till we say we're sorry. But that's not the worst thing that can happen. The absolute worst is to get blotted out. Vanished, gone. Bursts like a bubble, and that's that. Shudder at the thought. So they literally just said, one of the worst things to do is that we get a time out and have to go hang out at Saturn. I bet you don't hear that too often, do you? I bet you don't think of that. I don't know. I think my husband once asked me, what do you feel about Saturn? I'm like, I don't. I don't want anything to do with Saturn, really. Like, I'm good. I'm good. It is what it is. But kind of like soul jail is Saturn. Well, anyways, I was saying, and that's what the book wrote. Think of your trips through Earth as a loop through the 8. Life is really all one, though only in Earth do we take on a physical form and physical mind, to which we become inordinately attached, considering the scope of our existence. Our life is certainly not limited to Earth influences. Information is given in Cayce's readings concerning the following influences. And I do have the companion book, right? To a lot of Edgar stuff. But right now it's holding up my electronics here. So I need to dig into that. I just got that like a week ago. The definitions that follow are from the Random House Dictionary of the English Language, second edition unbridged. So this is actually from the dictionary, okay? And this is the information is given in Cayce's readings according to the following influences. So they were referring to this as influences. Arcturus, the, the first magnitude star in the constellation of Boots, known as the Herdsman, a northern constellation between Uranus Minor and Serpens. Planets. Then they just gave the names of planets. Jupiter, Mars, Mercury, Neptune, Pluto, Saturn, Uranus, Venus, Earth. We know the planets, right? This is interesting. Vulcan, a hypothetical, because it is a hypothetical planet nearest the sun whose existence is damn, I'm having a hard time today, guys. Was postulated by the astronomers to account for something about Mercury's orbit. I don't know anything about Vulcan. I don't. I don't. I don't. It says it's in the reading 8268. Cayce said Pluto and Vulcan are one and the same. That I have to look into, folks. Hence why I picked up one of Edgar Cayce's companion materials, because then I can cross-reference with reading 826-8, right? I never heard of someone, I mean, of course we all know Vulcan because of Star Wars stuff. I think that's, yeah. But maybe that show had an influence and I said, yeah, put us in there, right? Who knows? Septimus, 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 for which there is no dictionary definition, but is mentioned by Cayce in 3 readings as an influence. I'll spell that again. Septimus. Orion, a constellation known as the Hunter, lying on the I'm sorry, you guys know how I feel about Orion. Lying on the equator of Canis Minor and Taurus, containing the bright stars. We know Orion. Pleiades. We know Pleiades. I don't really need to do all this. Polaris, the pole star of the North Star, a star of the second magnitude, situated close to the North Pole of the heavens, in the constellation Ursa Minor, the outermost star in the handle of the Little Dipper. So the North Star. And I do want to remind people, it was December of 2021, I believe, where the North Star, as they would say, came back. Because you couldn't really see it before, and then it lit up the sky. Lit up the sky. We know how long it's been since that's happened. The Dog Star. So the bright star, Sirius. All you guys know this stuff. I don't really need to go into it. They just were giving little definitions. So he's basically talking Arcturus, Vulcan, another one, Septimus, Orion, Pleiades, the North Star, and Sirius. Included in this information about this, so what was also included is information about the sun, the moon, and the 12 astrological sun signs and concepts, as well as the constellations. According to the readings, the soul has experienced and learns lessons from these planetary conditions, which it then brings into physical experience. These manifest as strong unconscious influences on individuals' personality, character, urges, desires, habits, and preferences. But nothing, the readings insist, I love that. I love that word. Because, man, I try to insist it too, and nobody seems to listen. But nothing. So, all of Edgar's Cayce's readings insist equals or surpasses individual will, which directs what we do about what is known. Neither the date nor place of birth, the numerology, geez, guys, I'm sorry, conditions or positions of the planets actually direct the life being lived. I will say it over and over again. The planets can influence us. The energies of what's going on influences us and other beings. Our zodiac stuff influences us. The astrology, the numerology, where we've traveled, and they're about to start talking about that. Everything that our soul has obtained and gained, it influences us. But there is nothing that overrides our human free will, the individual will. There's nothing like it. There's absolutely nothing like it. It's, if people knew the scope of human free will, if people knew the scope and the power that it holds over everything, it'd be a game changer. The strongest power in the destiny of man is the sun, S-U-N. First, then the closer planets or those that are coming at a time of birth of the individual. So the ones that are closest to us, like our birth charts, our astrology. But let it be understood here, no action of any planet or any of the phases of the sun, moon, or any of the heavenly bodies surpasses the rule of man's individual willpower, the power given by the Creator in the beginning, when he became a living soul with the power of choosing for himself. Guys, I really can't even express to you. I really have to, I guess I'm going to stress it again, and I always repeat this. Okay, I'm going to go back. But let it be understood here, no action of any planet or any of the phases of the sun, moon, or any of the heavenly bodies nothing surpasses the rule of human's individual willpower. Nothing. It just said heavenly bodies. Angelic realm ain't got nothing on human will. I'm telling you. I mean, people do not get it. I'm hoping those that are listening get it, because we can use it. We are using it, unconscious and unaware of how power or how of the magnitude of human free will is. It overrides everything, man. At least here on the earth plane. And remember, if you're considering maybe hermetics attached to this, as above, so below, as below, so above, as within, so without. That's the human free will is controlling here which also is attached to up there and below. It's all connected. But we are very unique in that. Each planetary influence, not the planet or star itself, but the influence vibrates at a different rate. A soul entering that influence enters that vibration. It is the universal law of grace that the soul may at time choose to become harmonious with the vibration or move on. I'm going to keep reading and then I'm going to explain. It's like reading a book. We come under the influence of a good story, much the same as though it were another place. Whether we decide to stay there and finish the book depends on whether the vibrations are harmonious with our own. We read by choice only because we are learning something, or because we want to experience life monetarily from the writer's viewpoint. Okay? So they are saying we can travel to these other planets, these other influences. They're literally saying we can do this if we enjoy if our vibration is harmonious with that place's vibration. And if we need to be there and we like the vibration. That's why when it said Saturn, my husband would be like, "Do you go to Saturn?" No. I'm good. Like, I'm fine. Nothing against Saturn. I'm cool. My vibration does not need to be there, right? And I also, when we talk about the Akashic, I've said it many times, I have to take my frequency, my consciousness's frequency that creates the vibration within and around. I have to match my vibration to the vibration of the Akashic to be present there. It's not as easy as people think it is. It took me years of hardcore learning, training, and practicing and developing that skill to understand what I was doing, as in I have to match this vibration within to the vibration of the Akashic. Okay. It can be done, as many of you actually probably do it in your dreams, which I believe they're going to start talking about that. Planetary sojourns can be linked to book reading in that as children, we are forced to read certain books considered necessary for our education. Sojourns means like hanging out for a time period. I don't know why she chose that word, but that's fine because she repeats it a lot. Sojourns means to hang out for a time period. If we wisely, so then she referenced, sometimes we have to read books that we just don't like for educational purposes. For educational purposes, and we can all relate to that. There were a million books that they tried to make me read as a child, and they drove me crazy. But it was for educational purposes, supposedly. Same with our lives. If we wisely realize that education is never ending, we voluntarily read all our lives. At some point in our evolution, we voluntarily place ourselves under the vibrations associated with certain planets, much in the same way we pick up a book. What we learn from either and do about what we've learned is our choice. So how many times you come and incarnate here? Your choice. Do you like learning? Do you like to learn? I gotta say, about a week and a half ago, I was not doing all that great. I was really worn down, tired. I hadn't had a night off in like 40-something days. It was rough, folks. And I know those who watched the Zodiac reading, you saw it. And I was sitting doing something for a moment, and I was thinking, gosh, I couldn't even remember what I was thinking, but I had the thought of, man, this has been what a wild ride, like all the ups and downs. All the ups and downs, ups and downs, ups and downs, ups and downs. And I was like, thanks. I'd do it again. I'd do it again. Because that's what it is. It's cool. Ups and downs, ups and downs. All lives are ups and downs for educational purposes. I'd do it again. Sure. And I'm grateful for the ups and downs, right? Love it. Love it. Just gets me closer to accomplishing that great goal of love. So they are talking about the choice that you keep choosing voluntarily to be here for that never-ending education. Also, you can voluntarily choose to go sojourn, to go hang out at other planets and have them influence you. Another way of putting it, sojourns are short stays in environments being entertained by the body. This means the mental environment changes every time we admit into the mind these influences and conditions and stay there for a time. It works like this. When we walk out of our homes into a theater and focus on a movie, the movie, so to speak, walks into us. Certain films have the ability to live on in us as memory, often altering our perception of life long after we've left the theater. We sojourn, hang out, in the theater, and the film sojourns in us. So the film hangs out in us. So, perfect example, because many people say that, especially, with the Matrix now. We come, we live, we participate in life. It's kind of like a movie running of your story, It's wonderful, right? But the film is also a part of us. I mean, like, we're interacting. We're not just the actor. I mean, this is all ours, right? We're the director, the actor, the stagehand, the production. I mean, we're all of it, right? And when we leave the film, or when we stop watching the film, because so much of life is perception, right? When we stop watching the film, a lot of that film stays with us. Same as if we watch a really good movie. I could ask anybody in the chat right now, give me a quote from one of your favorite movies. Mine will always be, have you ever danced with the devil in a pale moonlight? From the OG original Batman. Because that was my jam. Right? It stays with us. I will never forget Jack Nicholson, that role. It stays with us. Same as every life. As books and films affect our thoughts, soul sojourns, hanging out, leave us with impressions and urges. For example, the imagery can become so strong we have to come back, in quotes, from the beach or mountaintop, or wherever we have visited. Between Earth lives these thoughts. Between Earth lives these thoughts may be acted out and brought back in inborn urges. I'm going to keep going. There exist in us from birth forces that impel us in one direction or another. Some of these drives are latent, such as artistic ability that is not pursued until later in life. Others manifest early, like musical. These urges may come from experiences between incarnations. We may feel the innate urges from other periods. To the soul, there is no time, and no such thing as many lives. There is just one life, lived through many experiences. To elevate these experiences, the soul calls on the sixth sense. So before we go into the sixth sense, I just want to definitely say, so the things that we are interested in, the things that we might feel connected to, like I am connected to Arcturus. I know that I am. I just know that I am. I'll say that I'm from there. And it could possibly be because every time I leave here, that's where I go hang out. That's where I hang out. I love it there. It's great. I love Boots. I love Uranus Minor. I love everything about it. It's the best place ever. Right? That's how I feel. I feel that way because maybe that's where I go and hang out in between. Or that is where I'm originally from and I just never forgot home. Same though, as far as just things, that's why we always, when you're a teenager, you're like, what decade do you love the best? You know? Because we do. We have these impressions within us that are stimulated because of the continuous life. And so oftentimes things that we're into, right? Things that we really like, often it's because we were there when they were created. We were a part of the, the process of being. I will tell you, I love the 30s. I love the 20s and 30s. Not so much the ragtime stuff, but the music out of that. I will turn on the music from like the 30s and the 40s. I shouldn't even said the 20s. The 30s and the 40s. I'll listen to that constantly. I love it. It's my favorite decade. It's my favorite. The 30s and the 40s style of dress, style of music, style, all of it. My favorite, hands down. Well, I also know that was a life that I lived that highly influenced who I am today, right? It's all influences. But hands down, yes, that's how I would love to look and be, and yes. I love the style of dress, the music, all about it. Film, I love it all. All right, so we're going to the sixth sense. So ask yourself questions like that, folks, because this is life skills. Ask yourself. As an adult, too, because this is adults watching. Because, we ask, when you're a kid, kind of figuring out who you are, you love it all, right? Or you hate it all. It's so black and white with teenagers, right? So we are grown. We are adults. Many of us are 40 and up, at least watching currently in the chat. Ask yourself, what do you love? There could be a time period of the music and art that you absolutely love. That you absolutely love. I am a rare person. I love the Baroque period. That's random, isn't it? But I love it. I love the Baroque music. I love why, right? It's personal. And so ask yourself that kind of question, like, wow, if I had to listen to a time period music for the rest of my life, what would it be? Or what am I really drawn to? What is it? And it could be even material matters. Like those who are engineers now might be influenced because when the first cars were being made, it was like, and they were there. It was like, whoa, this is the most amazing thing ever, right? It could even be material things like that. Like, what are you drawn to? I'm definitely drawn to literature. Couldn't read, as we learned in the bio of Edgar Cayce, but man, did I have the desire to want to read every book ever written ever, which is impossible, right? As a child who couldn't read, I just wanted to read so bad. I wanted to just soak it all up. That's got to come from somewhere. So ask yourself some of these questions. You know, what urges, what influences that you might love and experience, it definitely would be linked to past lives. And it's very common in today's world now to run into somebody and they say, yeah, I'm sure I'm from Orion, or I'm from Sirius, or I'm a Palladian. It is very, very common in today's world, which is still kind of like, whoa, mind blowing, right? Um, to hear people say those things. And it clearly Casey is saying it's because either you could be from there or that is where you choose to hang out with, because the vibration there in that planet, at that planet, with those other beings, is the most harmonious with you. So if you are feeling pulled towards some planet or some, star system, right? If you're really interested in that kind of stuff and you're being pulled towards one of them, it might be. I find it fascinating. Okay, guys. To elevate these experiences, the soul calls on the sixth sense. Sleep is when the sixth sense acts. Cayce called sleep a shadow of that state called death, because the physical consciousness becomes unaware of the existent conditions, except for the parts of the physical mind that belong to the imaginative forces, which participate in dreams. In the lowest to the highest animated beings, the five physical senses are on guard duty. Normal sleep. Especially the sense of hearing, which is most universal in aspects. So they're saying when we sleep, our other senses are like on guard, especially hearing, right? It heightens. And the lowest, generally the other four senses, taste, touch, sight, and smell, are less aware of what is taking place around sleeping body. All they're on guard. They're not active. They're on guard. They're standing there, like outside the London building, right? They're just standing there. Our other senses, but hearing is the one that's really more active, which we need it to be. That's a part of our human system. All the systems necessary to sustain life function. Therefore, what sleeps is the sense of perception related to the physical brain. That's when we get to turn our world that we perceive all day long, that we are creating all day long with our perception, working, doing, creating perception, sequence of perceptions. It's when that can shut down, right? That is a part of our physical brain. I love it. I love shutting down. I love sleep. During sleep, the auditory sense becomes subdivided. We hear by feeling and smelling, and through all the senses that are independent of the brain's centers themselves. So we're actually hearing. Hearing is influenced by feeling and smelling all sorts of stuff. However, the sixth sense partakes of the auditory forces as dreams. The sixth sense also partakes as the company entity that is ever on guard before the throne of the Creator itself. So the sixth sense that actually has you more, that is more connected or closer to the creator that is within you is actually more lively at this time. The sixth sense is the very force of the soul in its experience. Regardless of what that experience has been, it alters brain responses much like a string vibrates according to how it is tuned, but it functions in sleep as a sense. So that sixth sense, what a lot of people will reference to utilizing and becoming more aware of to develop more of your mastery present self, to become more Christ conscious as we talk about creator aspects. That sixth sense functions in sleep as a sense. So it's not dormant. In our waking day, we're using all of our other ones. In our sleep, it is the one that's most prominent. It informs the soul much as the five physical senses inform the physical body. It communicates information to the soul as it goes out into that realm of experience, which many encompass eons of time, and correlates the experiences of the soul according to its own accepted circulation or standard of judgments, in the same way your fingers inform you whether touch is pleasant or unpleasant. The sixth sense keeps the soul safe. Just as the physical senses can be sharpened, in effect, trained to see or hear, perhaps be more aware of certain sights or sounds, the sixth sense can be trained to monitor the soul's experience. Guys, by the time I'm finished reading some of this, I'm going to tell you why I don't really like this time of the year. Because it is, a lot of it also has to do with how I sleep. Because I don't dream the same as others. Here's how. We've all had the experience of falling asleep sorrowful and awaken elated. What has happened? The sixth sense has evaluated the sorrow-causing experience according to its own criteria and reported its findings. Again, by analogy, your finger has touched something it thought was unpleasant and found it surprisingly pleasant. Of course, it happens the other way around. We fall asleep peacefully and awaken depressed, lonely, hopeless, or fearful. What has taken place? It could be an experience of which we are physically unaware and that has not been remembered in a dream, but which must find its expression. Cayce said we set up warning conditions within the body if we set ourselves against the Creator's love. I want to read that again. Cayce said we set up warning conditions within the body if we set ourselves against the Creator's love. He said sleep is when the soul takes stock of what it has acted upon daily. The soul compares what it has done with what it knows to do. It abhors what is past or enters into the joy of the Lord. This is why the soul considers writing down dreams essential to self-preservation, as mentioned in Secrets of the Soul guidance. We can learn more about the secret world of the soul through dream study than any other way. Commonly considered merely intuition, the sixth sense is not intuition alone. If it were, it couldn't be trained. I'm going to actually stop there and I'm going to talk about dreams for a moment. Because then it goes into the intuition and it's got to talk about the training there. The sixth sense can totally be trained. Join us on Patreon. That's all I can say about that. And that's a pitch that I can do. In November, the 2 classes on Stars of Morning Light Patreon will be free to the public. So more people can experience it and consider joining the lovely community that's going on there. And yes, we are developing much of our sixth sense while also staying safe doing so. So, to sum up what they were talking about the dream world, uh, when you're sleeping, the sixth sense is going through, and so is the subconscious. It's all working together, right? I know I've talked about dreams before. To evaluate our day, to flush out what we don't need to, especially all the subliminal messages, to kind of set it up to our own soul standard, right? Our soul has a standard of living. And so that's why dreams can be looking crazy. You can also travel in your dreams, as they will definitely probably go into to different realms, different, I mean, so many people are talking about the astral realm and it's driving me crazy. Anyways, um, you can travel in your dreams. This is why I don't like October, and I'm going to leave it as this, because everyone is affected about the energies in October. It's that time of the year. That's why Halloween is right here. That this October is definitely a bit more so. I have not experienced an October like this since either, I think that was 2012 or 13, maybe earlier, 2011. One of those, 11, 12, or 13. It's been a while since I've had an October like this. So the energies right now, um, imagine if how they were talking about in this book about the universe and all the different dimensional stuff. You know, it just said that there's 4 here connected to the earth, conscious dimensional awareness, right? And then there's 4 heavenly type ones. Imagine, for me, especially this October, it's as if they're all crunching together. Makes it very hard to travel because I do have to travel, get my frequency to and vibration to the Akashic, right? And match it with the Akashic. It is somewhat like traveling in a way. Um, and it's everything is very compact now. This is the time of the year that the veil starts weakening even more so. And there had been things done a few weeks ago. I'm pretty sure they turned on CERN, which sucks all the energy from the planet, us, everything. I mean, it just messes with all the energy. But it helps, it weakens the veil as well between us and other dimensions, right? The dimensions that are attached to the earth. Um, so everything is doing that right now in this time, and it always has. That's why, going back to the beginning, jack-o'-lanterns. They were originally created because this is the time of the year that the veil weakens, and we also tend to honor the dead, right? A lot of traditions. You can go back to the Old Testament and find traditions. You can go into any cultural aspect and from times past and find traditions that we honored the dead. Many of them still do, because of the veil becomes less. That for me is never fun. I don't like dealing with that stuff. um, to the point, let's talk about dreams now. So this is how I dream, and this is why and it's been this way since about my mid-20s. I dream in layers. Hence, my sixth sense is guarding what I'm doing all the time. My sixth sense is very much knowing where I'm going and what's happening. I dream in layers. It's a dream inside of a dream inside of a dream inside of a dream. And depending on the night, I could have multiple layers going on. How that feels and what that experience is, okay? And this is, I normally don't even remember my dreams. So when I do remember my dreams, it's like, oh, was I working too much in my dreams? What was going on? I don't like remembering my dreams too much. I just trust that my higher being self, my sixth sense, I'm just my brain, all of it's doing what it's supposed to be doing. I just trust. But it's because this is how I sleep. So this is how you can imagine how this would possibly look. It's kind of hard to describe. I'm laying there. I'm laying in bed. I'm asleep. I mean, literally picture the form, right? I'm laying in bed. I'm asleep. Somehow, I become aware I am asleep. Okay, cool. I'm aware I'm asleep. That awareness starts dreaming. And then in that dream, that awareness, somehow Courtney starts dreaming in that. So it's, I'm here, the Courtney you're talking to, finally shut her eyes and is knocked out. I become aware of the fact that I'm asleep and I start dreaming. Well, then inside that dream, I start dreaming again. Like somehow the Courtney in this dream goes to sleep and I start dreaming again. And then I can dream more. And it's just a continuous layer of me basically falling asleep in my own dreams to have more dreams. It's very odd and it's random because how I have to wake up, I then have to come back from layer after layer after layer after layer. I have to come back. This is this is why I don't even mess with dreams. I so rather I not even know about them. So, anyways, last night before I went to sleep, something intuitively in me said, "Put your pyramid up around your house." I work with pyramid energy, right? And I normally my house is all locked down. I'm very protected, but I hadn't really done my pyramid um, imagery and energetically wise around my entire house in a while, you know, or at least make sure that it is up and good and structured and still standing well and everything's great. And pyramids are the best technology we got, the best natural thing we got to work with, the best sacred geometry to keep out anything negative. They're the best. Love it. The patrons are slowly really learning to develop and understand how to work with pyramids. $5 a month if you can pay 8, that's even groovy because you help out the next guy. So, something told me to put my pyramid up around my house last night before I fell asleep, and I went, okay. And I did my thing. And I kid you not, this is why I don't like this time of the year. I was asleep, and something, and I was sleeping on the couch for back reasons, right? So I was actually by my front door. Something at some time, it had been at 3 something in the morning. It sucked. And like 3 something in the morning, something pounded on my front door so damn hard, it shook my entire body. And yes, it was supernatural. If I did not put my pyramid up, I have no idea what would have come in my door. It was a boom. It shook my entire body. This is the problem with the layer after layer. I couldn't wake up immediately. It was come back, whoa, come back, whoa, come back, whoa. And then by the time I fully came back and realized, because I heard it, I mean, I realized what got me up and shook my entire body, and it was supernatural. The moment had already passed. That's why I don't really enjoy October, folks. It causes more trouble for me than good. I am usually constantly under attack in October. Constantly. So, because the veil is weakened. And trust me, I know what they're about. So that's why, as I started, I'm not the biggest fan of October. Um, Dreams are tricky, and we can talk about them more next time. Dreams can be tricky, especially if you start dreaming like that. Because, guys, I'm doing stuff elsewhere. I'm doing a lot of stuff elsewhere. And even the layers of my consciousness, all right, are doing stuff elsewhere that are being represented in dreams. So it's not so easy for Courtney to come back. And uh, also, why I don't really care for Halloween. I don't care for it too much, and I don't care for this time of the year too much because it's just more work for me and potentially dangerous. Like, I just can't stand it. So anyways, that was Edgar Cayce Life Skill Study. Guys, pay attention to how you dream. And if you don't remember your dreams, that's groovy. Just trust that your sixth sense, your mind, body, subconscious, consciousness are doing for you what you cannot do for yourself. That's how I see it. And I love when I can't remember what happened. I absolutely love it because it means that I was sleeping. So I can better do my work here, awake. So, Beloved just said, I gotta share this. He said all the candy goes half price the day after Halloween. I gotta tell you, beloved, that's how we do it in this house because my husband requires candy every day. And so, yep, you stock up, folks. It's great. So, it is a happy Halloween. I love jack o' lanterns. I love how they do. They are a form of protection if you don't know how to use a pyramid. They are great. And you enjoy. It's a time to be a kid again, if anything. Oh my goodness. And I'm going to kidnap my husband this Saturday and take him on a date because we haven't done a date in a very long, I mean, it's been years, folks. And I'm going to kidnap him to go somewhere. And when we go, I'll film a little bit of it because it should be interesting. And that's how I'd rather do October. So a little nugget of waiting for that mystery. And I can't say, guys, it's a secret. I'm going to kidnap him, put him in a car, and he can't leave. So he's forced to be with me. And it's an hour drive there and an hour drive back, but it is going to be really cool. And so I will film some of it for you folks. All right, guys, it was a good time. Jackie, I see that you came in. Everybody that came in, Seeker, Lori, Jackie, Beloved, Sandy, if you're still listening, thank you, everyone. It was a great time. I will be here Friday. And because I know I've missed Friday, folks, I will be here Friday. And actually, I'm going to just talk about the reality of light workers. Just what are they? What are they really? There's a lot of terms and a lot of stuff out there, and so I'm going to just put the reality to it all. So, love you all so much. Have a great day. Stay warm if it's cold where you are, and, drink some apple cider. Bye, guys.